Coming up, nearly every hospital system here in the first state is seeing an uptick in respiratory illnesses that are bringing more patients, especially young children, to their emergency departments. What you need to know. And it's healthcare open enrollment season, and there's big changes ahead for the 2023 season, and increased competition means more choices for your care. Plus, research from local high school students in STEM will soon be published, creating some buzzworthy news. We'll tell you all about it. All this plus your local sports and weather starts right now. If you haven't already, now is the time to start gearing up for elections. Hello and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. The 2022 Delaware general election is just around the corner, and while candidates are busy making every moment count during their last week of campaigning, DETV's Kaylin Pride is here in studio to tell us who will be on the ballot on Tuesday.
It's election season, and voters around the nation will head to the polls on Tuesday, November 8th to cast their ballots in the 2022 midterm election. Let's begin with the race for U.S. Representative. Democratic U.S. Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester is running for re-election against Republican Lee Murphy and Libertarian Cody McNutt. Attorney General and State Treasurer are also on the ballot this year. Attorney General Kathy Jennings is running for re-election against Republican Julianne Murray, and Democratic State Treasurer Colleen Davis is also running for re-election against Republican Greg Coverdale. In the most conspicuous race, political newcomer Lydia York knocked off incumbent auditor Kathy McGinnis, who was awaiting sentencing at the time as the first statewide elected official in Delaware history to be convicted in office. York now faces Republican Janice Laura, also a political newcomer, in a general election that isn't likely to change Democrats' firm grip on power. Moving on to state Senate candidates. Many candidates are running unopposed, including Senators Sarah McBride, Darius Brown, and Elizabeth Tizzy Lockman. For Senate District 4, Senator Laura Sturgeon is running against the Republican Ted Kittela. In District 5, Senator Kyle Evans-Gay is running against Republican Daniel R. Schmick. And in District 12, Senator Nicole Poore is running for re-election against Republican candidate Bill Alexander. Now going into state house candidates, State Representatives Stephanie T. Bolden, Sherry Dorsey Walker, Frank Cook, and Melissa Minor Brown are all running unopposed. To find the full list of who will be running on the ballot on November 8th, head to DETVCH.com. This has been your Who's Who for the 2022 Delaware general elections, and with DETV, I'm Kaylin Pride. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Kaylin. And many were up bright and early at the Department of Elections Newcastle County office. The 10-day early voting period for Delaware began on October 28th and lasts until November 6th. In Newcastle County, voters can go to 5 different locations during the early voting period.
We have here at our warehouse, we have Gunning Bedford Middle School, we have the Shipyard Shops at the Riverfront, Claymont Community Center, and Hudson State Service Center.
If you plan on voting early or on the day of, you want to make sure you bring a form of identification with you. To find out where you can go to vote on Election Day, head to elections.delaware.gov. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, a triple-demic is on the rise. We'll tell you more. And a new face is coming here to DETV News. We'll have you meet her. Stay with us.
Still searching for cheap gas prices? Dump the pump and ride DART. You can DART to your destination for only $4 all day. Let DART do the driving while you enjoy our free Wi-Fi available on all buses statewide. While scrolling through your favorite apps, don't forget to download DART's free transit app for real-time bus information and enjoy the convenience of contactless fare payment through DART Pass. So what are you waiting for? Dump the pump and try transit. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
A new beginning, a second chance. Call it what you want, but But this is what never giving up looks like. This is what finding someone who believes in you looks like. I thought Goodwill was just a store until a friend told me about Train to Gain through Goodwill's Job Resource Center. After 5 years away, I had a lot of self-doubt and fear about my future. But Goodwill had my back, and today, I love where I work. They matched me with an employer who believes in second chances. And now, I have a new start thanks to Goodwill.
To learn more about Goodwill's career development opportunities, call today.
Welcome back. Well, it's the first week of November, and it looks like the weather might warm up actually for a bit this weekend. Let's find out from our Shakira Denise. Hey, Shakira.
You are so right, Matt. It's been a pretty nice week so far, but we're going to have an even nicer weekend with unseasonably high temperatures. On Feel Good Friday, starting out the weekend, it'll be a high of 70 degrees with partly cloudy skies. And on Saturday, we'll have the warmest day of the week with a high of 77 degrees. A great day to be out and about with your family and friends, so be sure to enjoy it. And another reason to enjoy Saturday, we are going to get an extra hour sleep. It's daylight savings time, so be sure to set your clocks back 1 hour. Now on Sunday, things will change a bit. Expect a cloudy day with a slight chance of rain showers and a high of 75 degrees. I'm Shakira Denise, and that's all for your 3-day weekend weather forecast. Be sure you follow DETV across all social media platforms to stay up to date with our daily weather, sponsored by Dart First State. Back to you, Matt.
Shakira, thank you. Well, it's being called a triple-demic. 3 serious respiratory viruses, COVID-19, the flu, and another respiratory virus known as RSV. All 3 are putting patients of all ages into area hospitals, which were already strained by infected patients and those who need medical care for other reasons. A common virus that affects many children under the age of 2 each winter, RSV is typically mild with almost cold-like symptoms, but can cause much more severe breathing issues, especially for young children or older adults. Now, the CDC says that people usually show symptoms for RSV within the first 4 to 6 days of being infected. The CDC gives the following advice for preventing RSV. First, cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue or your upper shirt sleeve and not your hands. Second, wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. And you want to avoid contact such as kissing, shaking hands, or sharing cups and eating utensils with others. Lastly, clean frequently touched surfaces such as doorknobs and your cell phones. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year for those low-digit tag enthusiasts. It's the 12 days of Platemas, as the Division of Motor Vehicles is calling it. Registration is now underway for the DMV's latest low-digit tag lottery. Anyone interested in winning a low-digit tag during the 12 days of Platemas must register by Sunday, November 13th. And officials are changing the way they are making them available this year to make it a more equitable process. Residents can only register once per driver's license or ID card, and they must indicate what category of tag they want. Winners will receive an email once the lottery process is over, offering further instructions on how to obtain that low-digit tag. For more information, you can head to dmv.de.gov/taglottery. And new this week, DENREC announced changes coming to the 2023 surf fishing permit program. This comes after record interest in the program last year. One of the biggest changes will be the elimination of a cap that's been in effect since 2019. That's on the number of permits sold annually. It will be replaced by a reservation system for managing capacity on summer weekends when the state's surf fishing beaches are in highest demand. Last spring, the Division of Parks and Recreation initiated a comprehensive review of the program in response to unprecedented permit sales for the 2022 season. Reservations will be required on weekends and holidays starting the 3rd weekend in May through Labor Day weekend. Reservations will not be available for off-peak surf tag permit holders. Permit sales are anticipated to start in December. We'll, of course, keep you posted on that. For more information, you can find that at destateparks.com. And shortages in the nursing workforce has been an ongoing issue in America, but has since been exacerbated due to the pandemic. To help solve this issue, back in September, Congresswoman Lisa Blunt-Rochester introduced legislation that would bring support for states to either establish more nursing workforce centers or help current centers with recruitment and retention efforts. Recently, Congresswoman hosted a roundtable conversation at the Margaret H. Rollins School of Nursing at BB Healthcare down in Lewis. It was on the impact of the shortage in Delaware's healthcare sector. The roundtable discussion focused on the root cause of recruitment and retention challenges in the field. Factors such as stress, burnout, high cost of childcare, housing, and more have made it difficult for many nurses to stay in the field. Blunt-Rochester said that the National Nursing Workforce Center Act that she introduced would address these issues by creating a pilot program to establish state-based nursing workforce centers in states that don't already have them, including Delaware. Well, we're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, pancreatic cancer has affected millions all over the world. You can find out how PanCan is doing to raise awareness.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Welcome back. The 10th year of open enrollment for Delaware's health insurance marketplace began on Tuesday, and it will run through January 15th of the new year. Delawareans will find more choice in insurers and plans, as well as continuing enhanced federal subsidies to help with affordability of the plans. Those who do not act by January 15th cannot get coverage for the 2023 year unless they qualify for a special enrollment period based on circumstances such as loss of qualifying health coverage, change in income, becoming a parent, or some other qualifying factors. This year, Delawareans will have 3 insurers to choose from versus only 1 from last year, and a total of 30 plans, the highest total in 10 years of the marketplace. So AmeriHealth, Caritas, Aetna, CVS Health have also joined Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield of Delaware in offering coverage on the marketplace for the 2023 year. Those renewing or enrolling for the first time can head to healthcare.gov right now to explore their options for the healthcare coverage. 2 years ago, television personality and host of Jeopardy! Alex Trebek passed away after fighting with the battle of pancreatic cancer. Other nationwide public figures such as Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Congressman John Lewis also have died of this disease, with pancreatic cancer being the 3rd leading cause of cancer-related death in the United States. One Delaware survivor shared his story with DETV in hopes to raise awareness. Take a look.
For millions all over the world, pancreatic cancer has impacted their lives. With the disease being the world's toughest cancer, those diagnosed typically have a 5-year survival rate of just 11%. But for one Delawarean, the number 11 is now a testament to his story. Matt Wilson is an 11-year survivor of pancreatic cancer who is thankful each day and continues to give back and raise awareness.
So my story begins in the ER. I went in for a kidney stone. While they diagnosed a kidney stone, they mentioned in the report that there was a shadow on my pancreas. We went through months and months of testing, not knowing what it was, and found out that I had a cancerous tumor on the tail of my pancreas. And luckily we found it early. I was able to have surgery. Thankfully though, they were able to get it all and I was diagnosed cancer-free right around Christmas time, so one of the best Christmas gifts you can ever get.
November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network is an organization that wants to ensure that patients living with pancreatic cancer will continue to thrive.
My volunteering with the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network really centers around that, yes, more survivorship will come, but that it's because of medical scientific advances that we will find early detection, that we'll find more medications that can help survivor rate to continue to grow and grow as well.
In 2022, an estimated 62,210 people were diagnosed, with almost 50,000 dying because of the disease. There are many risk factors related to pancreatic cancer, and some of the signs and symptoms to look out for include weight loss, loss of appetite, and diabetes. After being an 11-year survivor, what message would you give to somebody who has just been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer?
Know that there's hope. Don't just listen to what's on the internet. Talk to the experts. Understand that it is a fight, but it is one that you can overcome, and there is support out there for you.
To learn more about pancreatic cancer, head to pancan.org. With DETV, I'm Caitlin Pride.
This week, Governor Carney, joined by the Delaware Department of Education, the superintendents of the Brandywine, Christina, and Red Clay school districts, as well as some other districts, along with representatives from their boards, officially signed the agreement to create the Wilmington Learning Collaborative.
This just happened, right? But it's why we're all here. To provide our children, our city children, with the education they need to be successful. It's going to take more than what we're doing now, we know that.
And good news for the Delaware Department of Education. DDOE was awarded over $800,000 in federal grant money for the health of students and to support cleaner school buses. The funds will be used to purchase 1 propane and 3 electric school buses for the Colonial School District through the Clean Bus School Rebate Program. The awards are part of the first $1 billion of a 5-year bipartisan infrastructure campaigned by Delaware's congressional delegation. The program will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, save money for school districts, and produce cleaner air for the health of the community, bus drivers, and of course, our students. And speaking of students, young scholars at Tower Hill in Wilmington have picked up an interesting hobby that's creating some buzz. Since last spring, high school students at Tower Hill have been researching and studying honeybees, now making them junior beekeepers.
Not many people know this, but bees are actually really integral to the ecosystem, and then not only to the natural world, but then they also are pollinators to many, almost the majority of the crops we eat today are pollinated by bees.
The STEM students have worked with Harvard and Emory University and recently found out that their research, get this, will be published in an international science journal.
We're really happy it got published because of our study, this can affect many beekeepers around the country, and then it can also help them save money.
Well, we're going to take one more quick break, but when we come back, both the Eagles and Phils are in action tonight. Our Nick Alessandrini is here to give you your local sports, including the first ever conference championship for a group of Cougars. Yes, you heard that right. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Still searching for cheap gas prices? Dump the pump and ride DART. You can DART to your destination for only $4 all day. Let DART do the driving while you enjoy our free Wi-Fi available on all buses statewide. While scrolling through your favorite apps, don't forget to download DART's free transit app for real-time bus information and enjoy the convenience of contactless fare payment through DART Pass. So what are you waiting for? Dump the pump and try transit. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Yeah, Matt, what a time to be a Philly fan. The Phillies are trying to stay hot in the World Series, and the Eagles are still the NFL's last undefeated team. But let's start with our high school sports, as the playoffs are just around the corner for our fall season. Some big football matchups this week with playoff implications. A big one between Red Lion and Woodbridge. That one is set for Friday at 7:30 p.m., and the winner to that one will punch their tickets to the playoffs in Class 2A. Some other big games on Friday include a Class 3A battle between Smyrna and Appoquinimink. Kickoff set for that one at 7 o'clock p.m. And then you can catch another Class 3 matchup as well, a big one. Middletown, they are traveling down to the Castle to take on Sussex Central. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock in that contest as well, with two ranked teams going at it. In other Delaware high school news, we have another future D1 collegiate wrestler from right here in Delaware. DMA's Alyssa Mahan has committed to wrestle at Presbyterian. Mahan has had success throughout her career at Delaware Military Academy, and especially with all the work she has done in the offseason. Alyssa was ranked 19th in the Wynn High School Girls preseason wrestling rankings and owns a win over the 10th-ranked wrestler. Congrats, Alyssa. Sticking with some more high school sports now, how about the Del Castle soccer program? Del Castle was able to win their first ever conference championship earlier this week with a 2-1 win over Appoquinimink. Del Castle sitting with an undefeated record of 14-0 and again are your Flight A conference champs for the first time in school history. Congrats to the Cougars. We've got some more high school stuff for you as well. The DIAA playoff volleyball bracket has been released. The volleyball playoffs here in Delaware, they got underway on Wednesday night. As you take a look at the bracket on your screen, Smyrna, they grabbed the top seed in the tournament, while Delmarva Christian, St. Mark's, and Archmere grabbed the rest of the top 4 spots. The semifinals are set for November 10th at St. Mark's High School, and the championship will be at the Bob Carpenter Center on November 14th at 6:30 p.m. Well, Red October is carried right in November for the Fightin' Phils. The Phillies took Game 3 of that World Series on Tuesday at home behind 5 home runs, but unfortunately dropped Game 4 on Wednesday, and now the series is tied to apiece. A huge swing game tonight in South Philly as the Phils look to get back on track and take that decisive Game 5 at CBP. A 3-2 lead would be huge to take back to Houston. Game 5, first pitch set for 8:03 p.m. on Fox. And the Phillies aren't the only team from Philadelphia in action tonight. The Birds have made their way to Houston to put their unblemished record on the line versus the Texans in their first dose of Thursday Night Football on Amazon. The Eagles coming into the contest at 7-0, and they are heavy favorites over the 1-5-1 Texans. Maybe both Philly teams can take down Houston tonight. We will see. Kickoff is set for 8:15 p.m. on Amazon Prime. And lastly, everyone, do not forget the Hens are back home Saturday versus Monmouth at 1 o'clock at the Tub. And DSU, they're traveling down to SC State. Their kickoffs at 1:30. So a lot going on this weekend. We've got the Birds, we've got the Phillies, Delaware, Del State. It's a lot, Matt. We've got a lot going on, but let's go Phillies.
Nick, thank you. And speaking of the Phillies, many Delaware fans came out to support our Fightin' Phils as County Executive Matt Meyer raised the Phillies flag outside the Newcastle County Executive Building. There's still more news to come. We're going to take one more quick break. We'll be right back with more DETV News. Stay with us.
As soon as I got here, I just felt the warm embrace of the community, man. Like what y'all got going on is wonderful, and no wonder y'all called the work group, because y'all putting that work in. For real, seriously, y'all getting the work done.
We are committed to creating the best Riverside we can with the community, for the community.
Welcome back. The Delaware Art Museum presented the 5th annual Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead event this past weekend in honor of the Hispanic tradition and holiday. The event featured a variety of free activities to celebrate the tradition. Here to tell us more about the Mexican holiday is DETV's Jasmine Buque.
El Día de los Muertos is a Mexican holiday where families welcome back their souls of their deceased relatives for a brief reunion that includes food, drinks, and celebrations. The tradition is a blend of Mesoamerican rituals beginning on Halloween Day. The ritual lasts until November 2nd, which is the Day of the Dead. According to the Latino tradition, the gates of heaven are open at midnight on October 31st. For those who celebrate, offerings called ofrendas are built within their homes. Ofrendas can be decorated with candles, pictures of past loved ones and bright marigolds called cempasúchil. Roberto Ayón had the amazing idea to plant cempasúchil flowers at his own backyard.
Ahora la pregunta es, ¿qué tiempo se tomó en cultivar esta bonita flor de cempasúchil?
Bueno, esta la sembré a mediados de julio, entonces por eso fue que no me alcanzaron a dar todas, pero para que dé bien y florezca se planta como los principios de julio, o sea, unos 15 días antes. Si yo las hubiera sembrado 15 días antes, hubiera estado todavía más floreada, pero aún así se ven bonitas.
La Catrina is perhaps the most recognizable symbol of the Day of the Dead. She's an elegantly dressed skeleton that has inspired many men and women to put on skull makeup and imitate her during the Mexican holidays.
Yo soy la Catrina, calavera garbancera, conocida anteriormente, creada por José Guadalupe Posada a principios del siglo XX. Soy Cindy Díaz, del estado de Guerrero, mexicana, orgullosamente representando la Catrina, una representación de que el olvido no existe y más estando en un país extranjero, sino que las raíces trasciendan más allá de la frontera.
Casa Guanajuato is an organization serving the Latino community in Kennett Square, PA. For the traditions, they created the most beautiful carpets made with sawdust. The beautiful colors are representation of immigrant people who come to America.
Claro que sí. Bueno, la carpeta o tapete de acerrín es una tradición que viene desde la época prehispánica con los aztecas. Ellos tenían alfombras o carpetas de flores. Después, con la llegada de los españoles y la fusión del catolicismo en México y Guatemala, pues se hizo esta tradición de hacer las carpetas. Antes eran solamente para procesiones religiosas o en tiempos de los santos patronales. Para el Día de los Muertos, pues ahora es para darle la bienvenida a los muertos, como recibiéndolos.
Dia de los Muertos is a day to celebrate our loved ones. It's tradition that our ancestors brought to life where a border is open between life and dead. With DETV, I'm Jasmine Bouquet.
Thanks, Jasmine. Jasmine is the newest addition to our DETV News team. DETV is now bringing Spanish news to you with Jasmine as your anchor. Be sure to check us out on Comcast Channel 28, and of course, you can follow DETV all across your favorite social media platforms to see more of Jasmine. Switching gears now, even though it was a pretty rainy Halloween night on Monday, many trick-or-treaters got to celebrate a little early this weekend when the weather was a bit nicer. That was down in Newark for their Halloween parade on Main Street. Many were in costumes, including Governor John Carney as a skeleton and Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long as Superwoman. How cute. And lastly, it was a very special day for Izan Mount Carmel United Methodist Church member Missouri Maluk, as members of her church celebrated her 100th birthday.
Just treat people nice and enjoy your life, and don't forget the man upstairs.
The drive-by celebration most certainly put a smile on Miss Maluk's face. Happy birthday to her. Well, that's going to do it for DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Be sure to follow DETV all across social media platforms and take a look at our website. That's detvch.com.